This weekend was designed to just pull a whole range of different experts together and people with interest in the Conagra Boyd to Wangler Link project. We had an idea of doing a pilot canoe trip because there had been the River Dreaming one done with the Lachlan CMA. And we just felt it was a good model to actually get people onto the water, have a look at some of the biodiversity down the river, but also to incorporate the cultural connections aspect, which was the foundation of why we're doing this in the first place.
Floating down here on the flat water will be nice and easy, gentle, no worries at all. So the rapids, we really do almost need to be instinctive in your direction and your steering. Today is all about teamwork and cooperation. Teamwork and communication amongst yourselves in the canoe. In 20 odd trips, I've only had 2 canoe trips that no one's fallen out. So odds are someone will fall out today.
Well, the great thing about this area is that most of the habitat corridor is actually along the river itself, because most of the area has been cleared for farming. It's very sparse woodland. There are some sections where there's sections of trees, but most of the actual corridor through this area is actually along the river. So a lot of the bird species actually are confined to that sort of habitat. And the good thing about being on the water is that you can actually just drift by and look at them. Did you go in there?
No, I didn't, unfortunately, but now I have. We didn't fall in.
Many people think that this landscape is still limitless in what it's able to do for us economically and socially, but there's a growing understanding that here there are many limits in this landscape. The soils, the climate, and the way the landscape has been formed gives us some upper limits to what we can achieve in it. And we're starting to see that people are, if you like, rebounding and realising that a real business is one that operates within those limits. And so the land uses that we'll see in the future will be ones that respect the constraints and the opportunities of this landscape, not just the opportunities.
One of the things we're aiming to do is trying to get Aboriginal people to set up a traditional ecological knowledge calendar, and there's a lot of things we want to try and include into that calendar, particularly the values on the river. And the other 2 very important issues are traditional burning practices, which we've spoken a lot about as well over this weekend, and the River Dreaming project that we have developed, and that's been a bit of a pilot program for this. Our culture is forever, it's evolving. We've moved from one threshold to another. And along the way, I guess Aboriginal people have built resilience along the way as well. And in building resilience, it means we can't go back to traditional values, but our traditional ecological knowledge is still there. The cultural sites of significance are still there, and hopefully those sites are there for all of us as Australians to enjoy.
I've heard from people who had done the trip and they had that little look in their eye. They're almost like had a transformation experience. And they don't quite know how to put it into words. So it's an experience, experiential thing rather than a logical thing. And for me, that's really nice.
I create these projects to hopefully just start a discussion and just let the future roll forward. And that's what I'm hoping with this one. So we're just the start of it and just see what happens. And I'm very excited about how everyone's connected and being able to build those relationships with each other, see how they can work together, not just in this, but suddenly go, oh, I need to talk to you about another project we're doing, or can we work with you on something we're doing? And I think it's those relationships and that communication with each other that, to me, is the essence of the work I'm doing as a regional land care facilitator for the Lachlan.